Hello everyone, it's November 6th, 2025 and welcome to this month's A&D Medical Live Q&A where we answer all of your cardiovascular health questions live. My name is Abraham, I'm an advanced medical practitioner and the pharmacist, as well as the host of the YouTube channel here at A&D Medical, where we create science-backed content focused on cardiovascular health and well-being. We go live every first Thursday of the month, so mark it in your calendars and we're going to go dive straight into your questions. Just a bit of housekeeping. Before we begin, all the questions I answer here on the live have been submitted by viewers, and that's through comments on our videos and social media. So if you ever have a question about blood pressure, about heart health, or anything else we cover, just drop a comment and we'll try to include it in this live session. So if I have time, I'll try and include it in this live session. So make sure to be interactive in the comment section. Or if we don't have time, I will answer it in next month's live session. And by the way, if we've already done this live and you're watching it after it's gone live, we do monitor all our comments. So leave a comment on this video or any of our videos and we'll get back to you in the next live. Okay, so I have two screens live, so I'm just going to keep hopping back and forth. So if anyone does leave a comment, please don't think I'm ignoring you, but I just don't see it until I flick back on the screen. So let's begin. Question number one, and this is from Mark212. Why are my home blood pressure readings different from the doctor's office? Is my machine broken? And I think that's a wonderful question. And honestly, it's a very common question that I get from my own patients. A lot of people worry when they're using their own home blood pressure machine, is it broken? Because I'm getting different home blood pressure readings and they don't match what I got at the doctor's office. And there's a very simple explanation to it. The first and the biggest reason is something known as white coat hypertension. You might have heard of it. And that's basically when your blood pressure goes up temporarily at the doctor's office. It could be anywhere, really. When you're doing it somewhere that isn't home, really, someone else is doing your blood pressure. And think of it like this. You know, you're usually in someone else's room. You're with someone that you don't really know and you're not comfortable with. And generally speaking, most humans, we get a little anxious. We get a little stressed out. Or even the thought of going to your doctor's medical practice, you know, it's a bit stressful. So you're not in a relaxed state. So it's completely normal. So that is one thing that really elevates blood pressure when you get it done at the doctor's office. And as a difference, you know, we say that a difference of more than 20 systolic or 10 diastolic between your home average, so taking your blood pressure readings at home, using your A&D medical blood pressure monitor, for example. So let's say, for example, if at home you're getting 130 over 80 millimeters of mercury for blood pressure, which is really good, okay? And at the doctor's office, you're getting 155 over 90. That's likely white coat effect, okay? So it's that 20 millimeters of mercury systolic or 10 millimeters of mercury diastolic difference that we're talking about. So it's not usually a problem from your device, it's usually white coat hypertension. And that's really the reason why, including myself and many medical providers as well, they encourage home monitoring of your blood pressure to give accurate blood pressure readings because you're going to be in a more relaxed environment. There are other things as well to consider. Sometimes the position might not be right. You might not have been relaxed for, 5-10 minutes before taking the blood pressure reading. You might not be sat down with a back support. There's so many different reasons and all of these can come into play. So please do watch our video on the channel. We go through this in a lot of detail on how to take your blood pressure readings properly. All the steps made clearly for everyone to watch. And even small things as well, like talking, for example. This one's a big one. Like, when you're in a room with a medical provider, it's quite common for them to talk to you as well, because I think it can be quite an uncomfortable experience because all of a sudden you go quiet and then they're pressing the start button or they're manually doing your blood pressure. And we tend to talk to people. That's just how human behavior is. But even talking can make your blood pressure go up. And we actually did an experiment on this where I spoke to my wife, Melody, on the phone whilst I was doing my blood pressure. And we actually saw my blood pressure significantly go higher. So if you haven't watched that, definitely watch that video too. It's on the channel. So there's loads of different factors. And just another one as well that comes to mind right now is, for example, what time of the day you do your blood pressure. Most likely you're going to have a doctor's appointment in the morning, all right, to take your blood pressure. Generally in the morning, our blood pressure is usually higher. And then in the evening, our blood pressure drops. This is just a general rule of thumb. So let's say you check your home blood pressure at 8 p.m., but you went to the doctor's office at 10 a.m. Obviously, the readings are going to differ, and that's completely normal. So there's many different reasons. The main thing to remember is to look at our video that we've actually made on our channel. We go through this in a lot of detail actually on why your home blood pressure readings are different to your doctor's office. We will link that in this video as well. And if you can't find it in the actual video, just go on our channel and watch that video. But the most important thing is making sure that the blood pressure monitor that you're using is on the validated device listing. We call it VDL for short. All of our A&D medical blood pressure monitors are on the VDL list. So that means that they're validated for accuracy. So you know you can trust the blood pressure readings that it's giving, because unfortunately, and we say this a lot on the channel, a lot of the blood pressure monitors that you can buy online, on online retailers like Amazon, a lot of them are not on the validated device listing. So you don't know if it's giving you accurate readings. So please go and watch our video on the video where we say how to check if your blood pressure monitor is giving you accurate readings, how to use your blood pressure monitor properly. So go and give that a watch. So I really hope that helps. I'm just going to flick to the comment section just to make sure we're not missing anything. We've got a comment from Camille. I'm sorry, Camille, I can't pronounce the surname, but nice room. Thank you. Okie dokie. I'm just going to go back to the questions. So we've got a comment from Cami Cephalar. If your blood pressure monitor has low battery warning, are the readings inaccurate? This is a great question. And to actually solve this question, I went and spoke to our engineers at A&D Medical because it's actually quite technical. And I wanted to speak to our engineers to really get the information for it, to give a really good answer for everyone watching. And to be quite honest with you, even I've thought of this in the past as well about low battery. And whenever I used to see, personally, when I used to see the lower battery sign, I always used to change the batteries really quickly because I thought it might give an accurate reading. So what they basically said is, inside every A&D medical blood pressure monitor, there's something called a DC regulator. And that means that the power from the batteries is converted and stabilized before the measurement starts. So, excuse me, even if the battery voltage drops slightly, that regulator keeps everything consistent. It maintains full measurement accuracy right up to until the battery is too weak to complete a reading. So the best way to think of it is like this: the only stage that really draws power is inflation. So when you put your blood pressure monitor on and you've followed all the right procedures and you click that start button, it's that inflation that fills the cuff with air that uses the most power. So it uses around 500 milliamps of current to reach the target pressure. And it usually pumps it to around 180 millimeters of mercury, 180 millimeters of mercury. And that's why it feels so tense and tight, excuse me, on the arm. So once that's done, the pump then stops. And then you'll notice that, the actual measurement begins and it starts to deflate. So when it's deflating, that phase only uses about 50 milliamps. So it's 10 times less. So if your monitor's had enough power to inflate the cuff, it definitely has enough power to measure accurately. So the best way to think of this is, imagine you're cycling up a hill and you're putting all that energy to go up the hill, all right? And once you get to the top of the hill, if your batteries were strong enough to get to the top, then you can easily ride back down. And that's the best way to think of it. So, excuse me. So the low battery symbol is just a friendly warning to replace the battery soon, not a sign that your reading is wrong. And according to our A&D medical engineers, on average, you'll get over 500 measurements per battery set, depending on the model. So that's an interesting little fact. So the moral of the story is, you don't need to worry. A low battery won't make your A&D medical blood pressure readings inaccurate at all. And that's one of the reasons, like I said, why I love doing these Q&As, because the questions that some people are thinking about, we usually forget to ask. And, people think of some great questions, and doing these live Q&A really sort of brings those questions out so we can answer them. So thank you very much. I hope that was helpful. I'm just going back to the comments, taking a quick break. We've got a comment from Hadia Hussaini. Thanks for everything you do, Abraham. Me and my dad tune in every month for these live videos to learn about these. That's so sweet. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm really glad that you find it helpful. So I'm just going to go back to our comment section. So these are all previous comments that we've got from viewers. This one was, I think, a couple of weeks ago from Thomas Phone 7524. What is a heat stroke? Normally blood pressure goes up in scorching heat, and it's a laughing emoji. And this is actually from the video that we did where we spoke about temperature and how it affects blood pressure. So I can see a lot of people mixing this up. So heat stroke versus how temperature affects your blood pressure. They're actually two very different things. So heat stroke is a medical emergency that happens when your body overheats. So when your body goes above 40 degrees or 104 Fahrenheit and it can no longer cool itself, you often get symptoms like headache, dizziness, confusion, a fast pulse, nausea, and sometimes your skin becomes hot and dry because you actually stop sweating. At that point, the body's temperature control systems fails, excuse me, and it needs emergency treatment straight away. So heat stroke is dangerous. It's dangerous overheating, not blood pressure specifically. So that's one thing to remember. Heat stroke and high temperature are very different things. So let's just talk a little bit about how heat and cold affect blood pressure. When it's hot, your body widens its blood vessels basically, and this can help release heat from your skin. So when those vessels open up, your blood pressure usually drops slightly. And this is one of the things that we speak about in our videos about temperature, room temperature, basically. So when it's warm in the room, your blood vessels are opening up, so your blood pressure drops. But when it's cold in the room, your blood pressures tighten. And that's why blood pressure goes up temporarily, okay? So we often see slightly higher readings in the winter and lower readings in the summer. So to clear it up, heat stroke is not a life-threatening condition. Sorry, heat stroke is a life-threatening condition, apologies, caused by overheating, but hot or cold temperature can also influence your blood pressure readings in everyday life. So if you're measuring at home, and I speak about this on our videos about taking your blood pressure at home, make sure that your room temperature is constant, all right? So try and keep your home about 20 degrees Celsius. That's around 70 Fahrenheit, because temperature can cause a lot of variation when we are taking our blood pressure. So make sure to try and keep things consistent. One of the things that I really like on the A&D Medical Precision Check Pro device, the one in my hand right now, this actually has a thermometer that takes that ambient room temperature as well, every reading that you do. And I think it's a really useful feature, because if you're seeing variations in blood pressure and you're actually being able to see the temperature as well, you might notice a correlation there. So I think it's a really useful feature that has that our A&D medical engineers have put in. And I think it's a great thing to be aware of. If you haven't watched our temperature video, go and watch it. We do experiments and it's really fun watch. I'm just going to go back to the comment section. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a dry throat today. All right. So back to the comments. Karen Midi. What are the best foods to lower high blood pressure? Karen, that's a great question. I think let's first start with what to cut back on. Salt is a big culprit, and most of it doesn't come from the salt shaker, all right? It comes from processed foods. So things like ready meals, things like canned soup, sauces, processed meat, even breakfast cereals, some of them, they are notoriously high in sodium, basically. And sodium, it causes our body to hold extra water, which raises blood pressure inside the arteries. So cutting down on those can really help blood pressure in just a few weeks. Excuse me, I just need to fix this. Yeah, so always check the labels basically to check the sodium content, all right? Or look for no added salt options. That's really important. And try and cook things from scratch. That's the easiest way basically, and using more herbs and spices instead. The next thing also is caffeine. Some people, caffeine causes short-term spike in blood pressure. So when you have a cup of coffee, we see your blood pressure will spike for about 3 hours and then it'll come back down again. If you have another cup of coffee, spike and it'll come back down again. So it causes these short-term spikes in your blood pressure. It stimulates your nervous system. So that's one of the problems with it. So most guidelines suggest staying under 400 milligrams a day of caffeine. If you're wondering how much that is, that's about 4 cups of coffee. So don't go more than 4 cups of coffee. That's the average amount that's healthy for an adult. But everyone is different as well. And I always mention this in our videos. You know, for me, for example, if I have more than 2 cups of coffee, I start to feel quite unwell, all right? And people's tolerance to caffeine is different. So we say as a rule of thumb, no more than 4 cups of coffee, but for you, 2 cups might be too much as well. So it's worth keeping a note, keeping a diary, taking your blood pressure readings at home, seeing if there's any correlation, and actually thinking, how much coffee are you actually having and then trying to cut down if you're having more than the recommended amount, or if you're actually noticing, actually, I'm having 2 cups of coffee and my blood pressure is really high every time I'm having it. Let's see what it's like without it, or let's switch to decaf coffee or decaf variants of tea or whatever you're having that has caffeine in it, and seeing how you do. Please remember the decaf also does have a little bit of caffeine in there. So again, it all really depends on your tolerance. Now, in terms of what to eat more, because the question was about diet stuff, starting with whole grains, so foods like oats, barley, quinoa, they're rich in soluble fiber, and this helps stabilize our blood sugar instead of it, getting insulin spikes. And they're both linked to high blood pressure or higher blood pressure. So try porridge in the morning, or maybe swap to from white rice to brown rice or quinoa at lunch. Small changes can make a big difference, really. Another thing that's really useful is lean proteins. So it's all about having a healthy, balanced diet, really. That's what we're trying to do here. So go for beans, go for lentils, chicken, oily fish like salmon, mackerel, really, really good. And a study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that people who eat more fish have lower blood pressure. So try to aim, if you like fish, try to aim for about 2 to 3 servings of fish a week, and that's ideal for heart health too. Now, a really interesting one as well that we've recently actually released a short about as well, YouTube short, is beetroot juice and nitrate-rich vegetables. So beetroot, spinach, rocket, which I think in America they call it arugula, because we had a comment about this. They're all packed with natural nitrates, all right? And your body turns these nitrates, so your body converts nitrates to nitric oxide. And nitric oxide, it relaxes our blood vessels, so it helps blood flow more easily. Now, that in turn can potentially reduce your blood pressure, but it's not a cure. It's a great addition. That's the best way to look at it. It's just a great addition to a heart-healthy diet. We shouldn't go excessive on any of these. We should just keep a normal, healthy, balanced diet. And one more, and my favorite as well, that's come to mind, is green tea. And I really wish I had some green tea right now because my throat is so dry. But a meta-analysis of 13 clinical trials found that drinking just 1 cup of green tea per day significantly lowered systolic and diastolic blood pressure. Just 1 cup of green tea a day. It was also linked to a lower risk of coronary artery disease. So that's one of the leading causes of heart attacks. So that's a really interesting one about green tea. So if you do like green tea, try and incorporate it into your drinking schedules. Maybe, replace one of your coffees for a cup of green tea. And also, finally, all these tips, the main thing that always comes to mind when we're talking about diet and lowering your blood pressure is the DASH diet. So that stands for Dietary Approach to Stop Hypertension. And it's one of the most proven nutritional studies for lowering blood pressure naturally. So if you want meal ideas, if you want shopping lists, all the science behind it, we have a full video on the DASH diet on the channel. Definitely go and check that out. So I really hope that helps. I'm just going to flick back to the page, just make sure we're not getting any comments that I need to reply to. Thank you, everyone, for showing so much love, by the way. Honestly, we love reading your comments. We love all the interaction that we get on the channel. We're getting thousands and thousands of views every single day and hundreds of comments every single day. So it's really nice to see that interaction with everyone, wanting to learn more about cardiovascular health and blood pressure. So, if you can, leave more comments and we'll always get back to you. So don't worry if you missed this live show, we will still get back to you. So back to my tab. Next comment, we got this a couple of days ago from K Kleckner 1866. Thank you for your comment. And they've asked, is there a specific type or brand of green tea to drink? This is a comment on our short video about green tea, lowering blood pressure, that I've actually just been discussing as well. So it's kind of fitting in well. First, it's a great question. I want to just look at the research a bit. So I had a really good look into the research even further. And the meta-analysis that I discussed, this is basically where scientists combine the data from many different clinical trials, so 13 studies here, to get a strong overall answer. And again, they found that just drinking 1 cup of green tea per day significantly lowered both systolic and diastolic blood pressure. And it also cut the risk of coronary artery disease, which was a major cause of heart attacks, basically. So the benefit when we're talking about green tea, it basically comes from a compound called catechins, all right? And these catechins help relax blood vessels. They reduce inflammation, all right? And they improve how your body handles cholesterol and blood sugar as well. So that's another thing as well that's a bit separate to the blood pressure. But all of it basically is supporting healthy blood pressure and cardiovascular health. Now, the study didn't recommend any one brand, so I'm still, looking quite deeply into it. But the most, important thing to remember is quality and purity. So try and go for a reputable source. That's probably the best advice I can give anyone. To go for a reputable source is probably properly tested, contaminant-free, and not overloaded with any additives or sugars. Now, whether it's loose leaf or bagged, like, you know, green tea in a tea bag, it doesn't matter as much as long as it's real and unsweetened green tea. One thing, though, that's really important that I've been learning about green tea is the preparation really matters, and many people get it wrong. So don't pour boiling water straight on top, all right? So when you've turned your kettle on and the water's boiled, just let it cool for a bit, because if you pour the boiling water on it, it's going to burn the leaves. It's going to destroy some of those catechins. So you need to let the water cool, leave it for about 5 minutes or so. It's going to drop down to around 80 degrees. That's about 175 Fahrenheit. Then steep the leaves for about 2 to 3 minutes. If it turns bitter, that usually means the water was too hot. So that's a good little indicator, or you've steeped it too long. And again, skip the sugar if you need any flavor, because if we put the sugar in, we're not going to get as much benefit, because the sugar is going to actually give us, you know, other problems. So if you want some more flavor, maybe just add a slice of lemon. I like to do that a lot of the time. And of course, remember, if you're sensitive to caffeine or you're drinking lots of coffee, try to stick to 1 cup. And, you know, there are decaf green teas as well. So that's another thing to try. So I really hope that was helpful. I'm just going to quickly go back on the live stream. We're looking good. All right. So a quick update before I actually wrap up. I'm really proud to share some awesome information that the A&D Medical YouTube channel is being selected as a finalist in the 5th annual Anthem Awards. And we've been chosen from over 2,000 submissions worldwide for our work in health awareness and education. Now, the Anthem Awards are run by the same team behind the Webby Awards, and they recognize global impact alongside some of the world's leading organizations. Honestly, it's an incredible honor and a huge milestone for our channel here at A&D Medical. It's basically recognizing everything we've been doing together to share trusted, science-based health information and empower people everywhere to basically take control of their cardiovascular health and well-being. So a huge thank you to everyone who supported us, who's watched our videos, who shared it, and especially those who went and cast their vote on the actual Anthem Awards. So your support, it honestly means the world to us. So thank you so much. And by the way, we don't have the results yet, but I'll keep you updated in next month's YouTube Live Q&A. So fingers crossed that we win. And I just thought I'd share that incredible news with everyone. So I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone for watching. I'm just going to quickly switch over and make sure there's no comments for me to answer. Perfect. Thank you so much for watching this month's A&D Medical Live YouTube Q&A. If you're watching this video after it's gone live, like I said at the start, don't worry. We have new episodes every first Thursday of the month done live, where I answer all your questions. So the best thing to do is leave a comment in this live, or leave a comment on our other videos, and I will answer your question on the YouTube live show. So please do that. Also, subscribe to our channel to stay up to date with our weekly videos, all about blood pressure and cardiovascular health. And as we always say, A&D Medical, discover precision.